I know you talked a little bit about Eddie Velasco. How has his mentorship and guidance kind of led to here and I can do that?
Yeah. So he was like, our childhood director from when we were, 9 years old until I went to college, 18. And he's the kind of guy that you wouldn't expect to be teaching like children's theater, right? He was like this gruff Italian dude. He'd yell at us, kind of a thing. Like I was telling someone in the theater the other day, I was like, because we perform at Del Valle, which is the theater that I grew up performing on.
Really?
So
I didn't know that.
You didn't know that?
That's crazy.
It's crazy.
Was Bruce there when you were there?
Bruce was my high school choir teacher.
What?
Yep. Oh my gosh.
Bruce taught choir?
And he was like the best teacher.
Are you
like
serious?
He was so influential in my life.
That's
too.
crazy.
He was amazing. Some of the oh my god, beautiful, beautiful years with him. So like my first show I ever did was on the Danville Village Theater, right? Like Big River was the name of the show, and then like Pajama Game and Annie and who knows. But then we transitioned to Del Valle. At the time, Del Valle was like a disaster. Like it did not look the way that it looked, that it looks now. It was like disheveled. It was bad. They also let us do whatever we wanted on the stage, so we could build anything. And they were like, "We'll do whatever you want," which is great. So like I was in the theater the other day and I was like, I remember when End was like, Magdalene, which is my like, maiden name, Magdalene, get in the corner, because I was talking too much with my friends. And so I remember sitting in that corner chair, so they're like all of these memories. But he was gruff with us. He was gruff, but as gruff as he could be, he loved us so much. And there was like no question of how proud he was of us. He'd like grab your head, he'd like kiss your head. It's like a uncle figure kind of a thing, but he was so proud. And so he pushed us, and he had a really high bar of what he expected from us. He's like, I don't care if you're 10 or if you're 25, like you're an actor and you're a professional, act like it, kind of a thing. And he gave us like mature content, and he explained it to us. Sometimes we didn't know what we were even saying. But he expected us to be professional actors. And I saw through us that like we wanted to raise the bar. We wanted to be challenged in that way. Now, we didn't want to be gruff with our students. We were like, I don't think that that's like the way to motivate people. It's certainly not my way and our way. And so we do it differently ourselves. We're like, we love the crap out of our kids just like he did, but we're like, we can empower them and we can motivate them and we can help them understand why, so they find the motivation in themselves to do it, So but how did Eddie influence me was kind of the question. Of like, he was the kind of guy who he didn't care what anybody else thought. If he wanted to do something, he was going to do it. He was going to make it happen. He didn't care how it looked. Like, he was so authentically himself, and sometimes that went too far, but a lot of times it's like, why not? We have this one life to live. It's not, not in a way of like being negative to people or hurtful to people, but like, love yourself, trust yourself, like go with what your gut feels. And he was a beautiful example of that, of like, he could make fun of himself, like he wouldn't take on judgment from other people. And that was really beautiful to see. Also as a man, so it's like different, because I think it is different. It was different seeing that in a man and being like, oh, it doesn't matter if you're a man or a woman or whatever pronouns you use, like you're just a person. Like, you can love yourself and like believe in what you believe in and be kind and go for it. Why not? There's nothing to lose. But also a lot of it was, Drush and I used to say that those were the happiest years of our lives, and we'd get together when we were older and we'd be like, oh my God, do you remember this? And like backstage, and like, we'd be on stage making faces at each other when we were like pointed away from the audience.
Like in a freeze, you're like,
yeah, exactly. Or she and I would stand on opposite sides of the stage, and whatever song was going on, and we'd be like mimicking the whole song to each other. We're like, we could see you. Like,
we'll be backstage during Monkey.
Yeah.
Like, do I need to be so gloomy?
No. Exactly. And it was just like, it was so joyful. It was so much work, but it was so joyful. And we would say like, we'll never get those years back. And that's why starting the company in some ways was like really selfish, because I was like, I wonder if we can find some of that joy in the thing that brought us joy then, even though like we're not going to be the ones on stage. And what I've discovered over the years is that like, I have no interest to be back on stage at all. I loved it so much. But like watching you guys perform is like one of the top greatest joys of my life. Like how proud I am of you. And like watching you, like going back and seeing these videos of you guys as like little people in our first studio to what you guys have like grown into is just like, it's so beautiful. And like watching you guys in rehearsal and like getting something like how to throw a joke, or like you hit that note that we all know you've been like going after, whatever it is, like those successes and those joys, like my heart is just so full. So it's like I used to say those were the happiest days of my life. I'll never be able to say that again. Like I'm in the happiest days of my life, like without a doubt. So yeah, he created all this. This wouldn't have happened if we hadn't been so impacted by him and the joy that he brought us and all of our families in that community.
Thank you, Eddie, then.
That's right. I know. And that's why we have the picture of him like in the lobby, is like, remember where it started, you know? And like he's gone. He died the day he died, that was the day that Drush and I chose the name of the company.
Really?
Yeah. So like he died, we were so sad. Drusha came over to my house. We sat on the couch and we were just like reminiscing about like everything and sobbing, and we had always as kids been like, one day we'll have our own theater company. And we had like drawn like we'll have like a foam padded pink room that you'd like yell in, and like pillows on the ground, and there'd be like a pole and you'd come from the second, like we like drew out what our dream theater would be like, you know. And we were like, if Eddie were here, he'd be like, get over yourselves and just do it. And so we're like,
look at you now.
Right. It's insane. And so literally that day we went through all of these different names for the company. We chose the name, we bought the domain website, and we started looking into how do you start a nonprofit. So literally it started that day.
That's crazy.
And that's like a good example of like this one man who had this one idea. What he created so many ripples, and we're just one of those ripples that continue too. It's like it's the power of one heart can go so far. So what if we all do things together too, even more?
And I think that also kind of relates to success, because you want to leave an impact on someone, and to know that someone left that much of an impact, well, then they were successful in their job and inspiring others.
Exactly. And that's it. It's like knowing that I brought joy to people, and that I opened up people's lives in a ways that might not have been available had we not gone for something hard and scary. That's everything.
That's so beautiful.